Episode 12, Anatomy of a Murder. We find out who done it, and should we start with that or walk through?
I think we could walk through.
Okay.
Since it was revealed by the Scooby Gang.
So it starts with the arrest of FP.
Yep. And he confesses. And then when Jughead questions him, he tells him straight to his face, yeah, I murdered him.
And don't come back again.
Yeah.
In that way that suggests, no, I didn't, but I'm trying to keep you out of trouble, you dumbass.
It's the same thing as in the movies when they're trying to get the dog to go away and they gotta throw rocks at it, which is weird stereotype. But yeah, that happened. Through Jughead sees through the deception, and then it's discovered that FP used his one phone call to talk to Joaquin, which
Kevin's boyfriend.
Yeah, which I'm gonna go off on a tangent for a moment. Well, a related one. The one phone call trope is a myth. It's been debunked the same way that a police officer doesn't automatically have to let you go for if they don't read you your Miranda rights, stuff like that. Look it up. It's not true. It just shows up in TV and movies. I think we need to start being more truthful with our due process.
Or realistic.
Yeah.
Isn't that originally supposed to be so you can get in contact with your
lawyer?
With your lawyer?
Maybe, but even so, it's. I mean, I don't know enough to recite the exact thing. It's I'm sure part of it is if your one phone call doesn't pick up, are you screwed? And that'd be a stupid justice system. That'd be positively medieval.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not true. And I believe,
well, Polly woke up and then went to breakfast, and then they're like, here, we have some good news. And it shows Justice for Jason and FP's face on there, basically. They're, that the murderer.
It's public knowledge. Yeah.
This is a weird thing that we get some insight into Polly's mindset, though, because her response was, it was him, not ...
Yeah.
Meaning she had a suspect in mind.
That's right. She had a suspect in mind, but she was just it was him. She was just kind of stunned and just kind of just stayed quiet. While the Blossoms were pleased with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think earlier, Mrs. Blossom was just upset.
Yeah, just killed my baby.
Killed my baby.
Yeah, and Cheryl continues the upsetness by physically assaulting.
Well, Jughead comes back to the school, and he apologizes, and then she sprays him by slapping him in the face and pounding on his chest.
Yeah,
in that
instance, he wasn't wrong. She was, and yet he was the one pulled into the principal's office.
Yeah, not even a suspension, I don't think. But that's the school system for you.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, let's see what to go on about this. Let's.
There was quite a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So let's run through it quickly so we can go to our thoughts. So here is the chain of events. Betty and Polly's dad comes back, fesses up to destroying the murder board in the sheriff's office,
and attempting to destroy all the sheriff's files while he's breaking into his own house.
Yeah, and
tells the reasoning why, and then goes into a little bit of history of the Coopers and the Blossoms.
Turns out they're one family.
They're all Blossoms.
They're all Blossoms. The great grandfather
Yeah.
We're like brothers.
They were brothers. It's just a straight up Cain and Abel story, and yet I'm not convinced that these guys were the grandsons of Satan and not God.
Which makes Jason and Polly related.
Oh my fucking.
So incest.
Yeah, and so
Which
the Blossoms don't have a problem with, or at least the parents don't.
we'll get to that after.
How do you get more Blossom than that?
Jesus.
Well, I was just thinking about this. On the other hand, it matches the crazies with both families, but at the same time doesn't justify it. Just saying.
Yeah, so Betty and Jughead are doing their investigation, and Veronica and Archie and Tagalon Kevin are doing their investigation, and so here's the basic rundown. They find, like, the one phone call went to Joaquin, who said that the only other person who knew about it was this guy named Mustang. They go to his place, they find him OD'd on heroin, and
with some cash.
Ah yes, the bag of cash with Hiram Lodge's initials. And
Which the sheriff initially wants to read as Hermione Lodge.
Yeah.
Which Veronica says was Hiram's, and then Hermione's like, we're not speaking anymore until we see a lawyer.
Yeah, and very reasonably breaks down at home because, well, she's been spending so long standing up for the guy that...
she's afraid she's going to get caught and it's going to ruin them.
I mean, that too, but also the fact that he may actually be a murderer, an accessory to murder.
Which,
but then Joaquin says that
before he leaves town, gives Kevin a kiss and says there may be something else that might help with this case.
So they go and they find Jason's jacket, which first
Joaquin hid by the side of the road.
Which they bring the whole Scooby gang in with Archie as Fred, Veronica as Daphne, Betty as Velma, Jughead's a mixture of Scooby and Shaggy, and Kevin, well, Scrappy-Doo.
Although, based on... I'm still disappointed that they've messed with Jughead's character so much that he doesn't have the same perpetual munchies that his original character does, and that Shaggy and Scooby do.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I guess if you gotta look as good as a CW character, you can't be munching on everything.
Yeah, and one other point before all of this, I just realized this. So at the end of last episode, they were trying to find Jughead, and then Archie and Betty were looking, and Archie was talking to Veronica, and she was like, wait, no, there's the only one place that is open for 24 hours. Pops. The warden's office.
Yeah, that is very fair. But, yeah.
Apparently Jughead called his mother to say he wanted to come to Toledo to get out of town, and his mom shot him down.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I think it's more along the lines of, you're still in high school, you need to finish your degree, all that stuff.
Maybe.
Well, it had to be something more than that, because she also had Jellybean. It's not like she couldn't arrange to
move them schools.
Yeah.
It's probably more along the lines of I can't support you, or I have a boyfriend, or something like that.
Can't support you and Jellybean at the same time.
Yeah,
which sucks.
You might be like working 2 jobs or something like that.
Maybe even 3.
Possibly. Anyways,
so someone decided to store a flash drive containing what?
Slightly before that, Betty decides to put the jacket on Archie instead of just leaving it on the ground and looking for the hole for the flash drive.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, you could have given the jacket a pat down and found it. It's not like it was necessary to be on.
Sorry, I interrupt that, Colin. Just Just
No
another
worries.
beef.
It's not like you needed to put Jason's jacket on Archie. You know, like you've been doing the whole series.
Yeah, seriously. The
Yeah.
comparisons continue. But again, to finish up the wrap up,
We find the flash drive.
yeah, find the flash drive, and it turns out that Clifford Blossom killed his own son, and this becomes public knowledge. A bunch of things go up, and the police find Clifford hanging after he hangs himself in his own syrup barn with a barrel split open and drugs in the syrup. So that's the summary. Now let's talk about our thoughts. Does anyone want to start, or should I give it a shot?
I did kind of suspect the sticky maple thing. The sticky maple was a drug thing.
I actually suspected the way that they were foreshadowing this whole episode. There was a moment in there where Clifford comes in to see FP in prison, and then they kind of cut off to something else. The way the episode was going, kind of foreshadowing that it was leading up to Clifford being the one that killed.
And that was not a subtle hint.
That was not a subtle hint.
Yeah.
It was deliberately showing that. So I wasn't all surprised that it was Clifford.
Yeah.
It was nice having the payoff of FP giving the jacket to Joaquin as their insurance policy.
Yeah, that does make sense. And
Now that it has the flash drive in it, it's actually being used to
incriminate someone.
Yeah.
Clifford.
Yeah.
It does kind of beg the question of why this wasn't brought up earlier, but FP's still getting the charges for obstruction of justice.
And then there was another moment they said
Mishandling the
they
body.
said that they
Yeah.
were covering up for a rich guy. So and then the only two rich people that we know is Hiram and Clifford. The only one who works in Riverdale is
Yeah.
Clifford.
That's
Again,
true.
another thing to note.
Mm-hmm. Right, so, let me address the show and the showrunners for a moment. Incest? Really? That's how far you want to go to keep this dark and edgy? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Not that you haven't been pushing twincest the whole time, but
I know that Game of Thrones is popular, but really? Incest?
but the incest is not why it's popular.
Yeah,
It's not why it's popular.
and again, this takes me back to the thing I mentioned in number 8, where there are these studios and people who try to be dark and edgy, and they go to the most extreme. And here we've got statutory rape and incest, and it's fucking Archie, guys! Like, if you want to go, like, dark, like, a little edgier, that's fine, but you're making this a cartoon. I mean, is this it? Are we understanding this wrong? Is this actually a soap opera, and our failing is that we're actually trying to judge it as a regular, normal show?
It feels a lot like it's a soap opera.
Yeah, like, is that what people like? Is this like a so over the top that we enjoy it thing? Because that is the only thing I can see. Roxy, do you have any thoughts on it?
Nope.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
Your insight is keen as always.
So
There's not that much to say about it that hasn't already been said. It's kind of, I don't know.
I guess. I mean,
it could be a lot worse.
yeah. I mean, granted, I think we're already skirting pretty bad on how Cheryl is written.
And then again, she already just got the shaft.
Yeah,
By
and
every.
pretty much. But her dialogue, basically, the end is her fault because she goes up to the breakfast table and says, "You did a bad thing, Daddy." and now everyone's gonna know. Again, like she was written in for a 50 Shades knockoff. And just, man. I don't know. I can't just, and that whole, like, talking with her mom scene, that was so overdramatic.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like her mom was aware that there were drugs in the maple syrup.
Yeah.
Since she dragged Cheryl out to the barn and
It's like, this is our secret syrup!
the dark secret truth.
Oh man, just like, again, like, maybe we've been looking at this wrong and it's secretly some brilliant flash on telenovelas or something of
telenovelas.
But
Yeah.
again, Archie!
Yeah, Archie and incest. These things go as well together as peanut butter and cockroaches, as four-wheel drive and the ocean, as Donald Trump and the presidency. Just, oh man.
I mean, it would have just been fine if it was just Archie and the murder mystery, but you have to put an incest in this.
Yeah, incest, statutory rape, slut shaming, like gang warfare stuff.
It's like a darker, grittier version of Degrassi.
That's actually pretty fucking brilliant. I don't watch. I watched all of 3 episodes of Degrassi when I was dating someone once, but yeah, no. Now that you say that, that really just clicks.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're pretty much hit on the nail. It's
Yeah.
just-
The question is Degrassi any good to begin with? Is this something that we should be emulating in our Archie adaptation?
So I don't know, I have a theory about this. I don't know Degrassi from,
DiGiorno?
yes, but I have a theory that somebody decided to pitch like a 50s noir detective setup here.
Yeah.
And they thought, let's put it in this old-timey town in Vermont. We'll have this murder mystery, and we'll say maybe the high school journalist kid is our lead detective here.
Okay.
And, this sounded like a good idea, and then some corporate schmuck decided there's no brand recognition here. How are we going to get people to watch it? Well, let's see. We wanted it to be in the 50s. Let's attach something else that's
In the
50s related. Let's go with Archie.
Yeah.
Sure, fine, whatever.
But sir, there's that Archie's got an ensemble cast, and I only really have enough material for this one character.
Yeah.
And then just spice it up, turn it into a modern retelling of Archie.
Yeah.
Because,
we
gotta
can't have the actual 50s. That's played out. No, it's not.
You got it.
So we'll set it in a modern town with old 50s nostalgia bait that's gone the way of the dodo.
And make them look young and look fit and pretty.
Yeah,
And we'll give them as much modern angst as we can cram into 30 minutes.
Jesus Christ. Or 40. Or 42. It's an
42
hour-long show.
It's an hour-long show. It's
Yeah,
42
but
minutes.
we've got to cram 30 minutes of drama and maybe 15 minutes of plot.
Okay, there you go.
Mhm.
Oh, man.
Well,
Yeah?
yes.
Maybe 10 minutes of.
Damn.
Oh, snap! Mic drop.
Except please don't, that's very expensive.
Yeah.
That is very expensive. Okay, I'll put back the record.
So,
But yeah, this seems like it had the core of a good idea, and then somebody threw Archie and the modern era at it, and you fucked it up.
Seriously, yeah. So, if we're done with that particular topic, here's a question I want to ask. How well do you guys think the mystery as a whole holds up under its own integrity?
The mystery on its own was not bad.
Yeah, the
it's like-
mystery wasn't that bad.
It's a very I can actually see the ripple of cause and effect, and I can understand why Clifford killed Jason, who, by the way, looks like a Twilight vampire. I'm not sure if I ever said, but
Part of the Collins.
yeah, pretty much. But say, here's the thing that something I glossed over. So originally, everyone was under the assumption that Jason and Polly were going to run away because the Blossoms didn't approve. But it turns out the Blossoms did approve, so Cheryl asks, but then what did he run away from? And if the last shot is anything to go off of, it sounds like Jason had a fight with Clifford over the whole drug thing. So, flash forward, and you've got Jason locked up in the cellar of the Southside Serpent's bar, who...
Because FP decided to hold him for ransom.
Yeah, and which probably is not a great condition, and Jason will probably talk. So, it is in Clifford's best interest to make sure that his son is forever silent. So, the chain of events makes sense to me.
As a mystery, it was the only thing that kept me, I guess, us watching the show.
I mean,
Or I don't
the
know.
lulls.
The lulls, yeah. It was the only thing interesting about it.
I mean,
The only thing interesting and not outright horrendous.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because, it really does feel like there was so little focus on a mystery. It's basically like you're drawing out a mystery over 12 to 13 episodes. And
Which, quite frankly, Bones could have figured out in one, maybe two.
yeah.
Could have just turned this into a miniseries and just
For sure,
6
yeah.
episodes or 3.
You guys should keep going. I need to hit the restroom again. Sorry, loyal
So
viewers.
this was a decent mystery.
It was a decent mystery.
But,
It just got crammed with all the drama and soap opera.
yeah, and, if you wanted to make this a Scooby-Doo murder mystery, that could have worked too. But you made it Archie murder mystery. And, quite frankly, it doesn't work. You had to add so much drama and so much conflict that by the end of the third, fourth episode, we don't actually care about the murder anymore. We're just in it to see how reprehensible people get, and they get pretty reprehensible.
Yes, indeed. As evidence from previous episodes.
Any thoughts?
As quiet as always.
So offended me.
Brevity is the soul of wit and all that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like I would have loved to see a 50s noir teen detective, sort of like in the vein of Encyclopedia Brown or like they keep referencing Nancy Drew. That could have even been a fun like Encyclopedia Brown and Nancy Drew crossover. That would have been fun. You could have done that as a series. You could have made it lighthearted but still serious, and you chose not to. You chose drama.
You chose gritty and dark.
And
Try to be hip and cool, and it's...
And you oversaturated your audience with it. You really pushed it so far that everybody's gotten jaded to the whole experience by the time you hit the end. Your dramatic payoff isn't as dramatic because you've over-dramatized everything else.
And also toying with your audience, too.
Well, I mean, toying with the audience is kind of a staple of the murder mystery, though. Like,
Yeah.
you give them the evidence in one direction, then find something to disprove it. That's part of the fun of murder mysteries.
That's
but,
true.
But, if you make everybody who's not in this room a suspect, which is actually something Alex said last episode, then you're... And if you say that in episode 11 of 13, quite frankly, you're not being a murder mystery, you're being a drama that happens to have a murder in it.
Or at least commentary on murder.
Mm.
Because basically, I feel like it's a little bit of soap opera, a little bit of meta, a little bit of commentary, like all scrunched together. And sometimes it's a little bit much.
Yeah. I mean, it's... Yet again, I'm going into politics, but it's the same effect we're getting with Trump, where you oversaturate people with horrible, and eventually it becomes the new normal, and suddenly the next horrible thing is just par for the course. Doesn't matter that you're playing golf in a sewer filled with crocodiles and many, many worse things.
And of course, before I think we had, or at least I heard before, like the norm, like even in like reboots and stuff, you go from like silly and corny to dark and gritty, which seems to be kind of the trajectory that a lot of studios, a lot of TV and movies kind of do, which is what Riverdale did.
There's been a lot of those things, and I admit I'm only coming in like part way, so if what I say is redundant, then apologies, but in most of those things, generally we care about the characters. Do we care about anyone here outside of the fact that they're pretty?
It's a whole roster to go down at the moment.
I know, right?
No, hell no.
Archie's mom, but only met
No,
her
no.
one time.
Yeah, she only had like...
Fuck no, double fuck no.
And he's gotten to the blossom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe Kevin, and that's only because he's one of the least reprehensible people in this series.
He's also the flattest, in my opinion.
This is true.
Like, before he got a boyfriend, he was kind of, oh my god, shoes. But then, he sort of remembered, oh yeah, my dad's a cop. I can know things.
I can do things. I
Yeah.
have power.
Yes, and with that power comes not a great TV series. But, who knows, maybe the final episode will turn the whole thing around and it'll secretly be the Citizen Kane of our time. Maybe.
You know, until season 2 starts up and Reprehensibleville comes back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, anything more to talk about here?
No, I don't really think so. I think we pretty much covered our thoughts and yeah.
Alright. Well, in that case, we'll see you in the next episode where we wrap up season 1 and hopefully I feel less like death. I wouldn't hold your breath though. Oh, actually, don't hold your breath about us liking the show. Me feeling like death could be a number of things. Alright, got any final words to say before we sign off?
Hey, Riverdale executives!
Hold on, wait, no, I got this. No, better one. There we go.
I don't know, I'm always partial to the Star-Lord one. I didn't know what this machine did.
Indeed. Alright.